So here we are once again talking about this shit because I want to talk about it. So I want to talk about an individual I met. I want to say maybe around sometime last year. So I had never had fufu before, right? So I wanted to try fufu. So I found an African African restaurant, African cuisine restaurant, where I live. I went to the restaurant and I ended up meeting this guy, right? So his name is Steven. So Steven was pretty cool. We got to talking and he wanted, we swapped out information like phone number and social media, Instagram account. Now I had told him, I said, now look, you're meeting me in person. There's not too much of a difference than what you're going to see from me on social media, but on social media, it is going to be somewhat different and you may not like what you see. So he was just like, I told him, I was just like, it just kind of comes off, I could come off kind of mean sometimes. So I had already warned him, you know. So, you know, um, So he checks out my social media account. He sees what I'm saying. But at the same time, he's not necessarily timid. You know what I mean? I was doing a live reading, and he came on live and he told me, I was pretty much reading his energy. So because he had put it out publicly that I was reading his energy, I did not want to continue with the reading and be putting his business out. So I told him, I said, well, we can get in on a private chat, hit me up or I'll hit you up later. You know what I'm saying? So he hits me up. We do a reading. He had a great reading. So, he had a lot of things going on in his life. So he was a website builder. His family lived in Uganda and he was here, to make money and to work and all this type of stuff. And he had dreams of having his own airplane line, right? So when we're doing the reading, it's a great reading. And God is promising his dream to come true because obviously he needed a little pick me up. Now, when we were doing the reading, something threw me off that he said. He brought up Elon Musk, right? He's just like, if Elon Musk can be a millionaire and if he can do this and if he can do that, then I can do this and I can do that. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm just like, why did he say that? Sometimes I feel like people be saying shit that, like, sometimes they're just socially awkward. So they just be like saying like weird shit. Cause I'm just like, why do you depend on your success based on you measuring and comparing yourself to somebody else? So I'm thinking to myself, I'm just like, well, does he know Elon personally? Because Elon is from Africa. But at the same time, this dude is not necessarily old enough to have grown up with Elon or know him or some shit. You understand what I'm saying? So, and Elon, I believe he grew up in South Africa. I don't quote me because I don't know if Guam, if Uganda is South or what, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, like I got triggered a little bit because I'm just like, he a hater. And why would his success be driven off of somebody else who's successful, who obviously he thinks is a joke or some shit? I mean, I don't know. I didn't ask too many questions. I didn't, I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck is going on here. Like, I don't, that shit just totally threw me off. Even to this day, I still don't know what to think about that. But anyway, because I'm just like, how you gonna compare yourself to Elon Musk? Because this guy, he's around my age. I believe Elon is about 50 something. That man is whole 20 more years older than you. I don't know. I just didn't understand why he brought him up. But we finished off the reading, and the reading was really good. And I'm gonna tell you, I usually charge for my readings, but God told me to do his reading for free. So I'm just like, okay. So I didn't say anything about the pricing, but he was so inspired. He was so moved by the reading, because him having his own airplane line is something, it's like that is something in the depths of his soul that he really truly wants. That is something that he thinks about all day, every day. It's going to take a lot of work. And I could tell that he was hesitating with moving in that direction because a part of him didn't feel as if, or didn't think that it would be accomplishable. Mm. Sorry, I got something going on. I got something going on. So my dad been trying to op up and he been doing some witchcraft on me and he keep trying to attach and project, the backfire of what he's going through onto me. So, he's going through some things with his mouth and periodically I could just feel things going on with my mouth too. That nigga must be talking about me or trying to get some work done on me to where he thinks that he's going to convince me that bad shit is happening to me because of me not being there for my grandma. My grandma's sick. But the thing is that that side of my family is going through what they're going through because, there's a $25 million inheritance that they are not trying to give me and my sisters. They're trying to keep it and they're trying to dictate it. They're trying to control, and I know I'm getting off topic, but let's just talk about it for a minute. Cause, I need this motherfucker, I need this energy to back the fuck up off of me. Cause I'm not fucking playing. So, it started with the pandemic. My family was real serious. That pandemic was supposed to be about bringing family closer. But in the situation with my family, it really showed who they were and what they think and how they feel about me and my sisters. They totally disregarded us because we had different beliefs around the pandemic. I didn't want to get that shot. I didn't trust it. And I knew God told me I wouldn't need it and not to get it. So that side of my family, they were real proactive and trying to be catalytic for me and my sisters. Like, oh, you got to get the shot, get the shot. Them motherfuckers got the shot and they got sick as hell. They started going through shit in their body that the doctors can't explain and, they don't know. But the way that they treated us, because they felt like we weren't taking shit serious, they felt like we were wrong. The way that they judged us, the way that they shunned us, we couldn't even go to my cousin's graduation. You know what I'm saying? It's like they were terrible and they knew that they was terrible behind the scenes. And this was around the time to where they were supposed to give up that inheritance. So they was doing like a lot of sneaky, like snake slick shit, you know? And my dad started treating me some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to prove that we were mentally unstable to handle the money. They were trying to prove that, we're lazy, we're bums. My thing is that, well, see, my aunt, she works in banking and she works in the judicial system. Okay, so my uncle, he owns banks. He owns banking systems. So, these people have authority. They have high positions in the world. So their arrogance made them think and feel like they would be able to get away with this. They bribed judges. They paid people. They were sitting back, talking, gossiping, laughing about me and the shit that me and my sisters had going on. It's kind of like the pandemic shit wasn't enough. You know what I'm saying? So this shit been going on for a long time. They've been sitting back behind social media, watching me and my sisters and just gossiping and having so much to say. This is what happens to the elders in the family to when they don't have a life. They just give up and they die before they die. Then they start trying to be a bully. And let me tell you, these people they're so racist, but what are they doing? They're acting like they're oppressors. Just like the oppressors didn't want black people to have anything. Look at what they're doing. That's what I'm saying. People are so full of shit. And they wonder why I don't respect them. I don't come around. I don't want to talk to them. But the thing is that they know. They know exactly what's going on. And they know that I know. That shit is crazy. I want my fucking inheritance. But at the same time, if it's not meant for me to have the shit, then it's not meant for me to have the shit. So I thought that I would just address that real quick. So anyway, let's get back to Steven. So the thing with me and Steven, I didn't charge him. But he said, what can I give you? What is something that you want? So then he starts talking about business and what I'm trying to do, like business-wise, this, and that. So he tells me that he can build me, he's going to build me a free website, in replacement of him paying me for the reading. So it's collateral, it's trade. I thought that shit was perfect. I've been wanting an official website, not no GoDaddy, not no Wix.com, not none of that. I want my own official because, I have people that have been hacking these systems and sabotaging me for a long time, So I'm just like, I'm not going to be able to use something else. I'm going to have to get a website created. But websites are, they're very expensive when you're not going through a third party that's helping you build the website, because having to go through all those codes is very long and tedious work. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, oh my God, I really want a website. I really want this website. So he's telling me, okay, so we're going to hook up and we're going to talk about what you want, how we're going to do things. Do you have products to sell? I pretty much gave him the basics of what I wanted because I have experience with having a website. So, so I was able to tell him what I wanted. Now, the thing is that we were supposed to meet up. But, I felt a shift in Steven's energy. And then I noticed how we started playing phone tag. And I came to the realization, I said, he was so excited about the reading and he was so inspired. But now that feeling is gone and all he has left is his thoughts, he's thinking about how he doesn't think that putting in the work for a website is equivalent to his reading. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, okay, I understand that. But at the same time, that was something heavy on your heart. How the fuck can you say something like that? If anything, I'm the one who's being over generous with you. It has been weighing on your heart. You don't even want to go after your dreams unless you get confirmation that that shit is going to happen for you. You are in a very depressed and dark place. We did not meet by coincidence. I don't just meet random people. I don't just connect to anybody. God always has me on a mission when it comes to me having to connect with other people. So it's just like, don't you dare, I cleared out the depths of your soul. I took something so heavy up off of you. You can't do that for me, but you can bless me with this website. And then on top of that, I'm not even asking because I want to be able to play trivia, on my website. I didn't ask him to do that. I know that's big money. And I won't try to take advantage. The main thing that I wanted was e-commerce and a place to where I could sell my goods. Keep it real simple. Have a photo gallery of events, have a calendar for my plans that I have in the future and all this type of stuff. Something real simple. So I'm just like, damn, like he don't even want to do my website. And he don't even have the balls just to tell me that he don't want to do it. Like he's so conflicted about how he feel about me right now. And I don't understand where this shit is coming from. So let me tell you why I find out a year later. Now he has a spiritual business. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm just like, I thought that he wanted to, but I'm going to tell you, when I was real sad and disappointed about him trying to play me over that website, God told me that I was the gatekeeper to his dreams. And that's why God told me, don't charge him for that reading. So, yes, it was a wish, it was a dream of mine to have my own website. And just like he sabotaged that for me, he ended up sabotaging himself. He sabotaged his dream with wanting to get that airplane line. So when God told me that, I let the shit go. I was just like, damn, that's fucked up. Like, the vision is so clear. It's like he knows what to do. He knows how to get the resources, but it's kind of like the belief. He didn't have the belief. He didn't have the foundation or the backing. Like I gave him that. That was my gift to him. So when he pulled that dumb shit, I was just like, and when God told me, I was like, okay, well, thank you for having my back because that's fucked up. My thing is that if you didn't want to do the shit, you should have just said you ain't want to do it. You should have just said, but why? I know I promised you, I apologize. You should have compensated for it in some other way. You felt like shit was not a fair exchange, but you didn't try to come up with a solution to create a fair exchange. So with you just walking away from the situation, you're the one causing the unfairness. This be the shit I be talking about when it comes to people. This be that shit there. So, like I said, a year later, I found out that he got his own like spiritual business. I want to say a day ago, he had called me. I didn't even see the call. I'm glad I didn't see the call. I wouldn't have picked it up anyway. Then I was enlightened that he had gathered up people to come up against me and try to do like work on me. And the thing is that the shit has backfired terribly to the point to where he's calling me. He needs answers now. He doesn't understand what's going on. You know what I'm saying? You already treated me unfairly. You already dipped out and didn't keep up your half of the bargain. You didn't have to, but okay. But the way that you did it, it was fucked up. You made yourself seem like you was a real cool, nice, great guy. You know what I mean? Then on top of that, you gonna go behind my back and then you're trying to attack me. You have been trying to attack me. And then you got other people involved. Motherfuckers is getting sick. Like he don't know what's going on. He don't know what's happening. He don't know. And he's scared as hell trying to call me. I asked God, I said, should I call him back? God said no. Right. Because it's just like, damn. First you ain't want to build my website, then you want to try to come for me? Try to attack me? You gonna try to get into what I'm into? Ain't you supposed to be focused on doing your airline? Right. That shit is crazy. So I just thought I just got a lot to say. Because it's just like a lot of shit that's just on my mind that is just ridiculous and we just need to get it out. Okay. But anyway, we gonna wrap it up there. So until the next time, we'll talk again. Thank you.